Okay, Paul here in Chiang Mai, here with this YouTube vlog on Barcelona's 3-2 win over Real Madrid in El Clasico at the Santiago Bernabeu last night. So, Clasico by name, Clasico by nature. This was a spectacular football match at Chamartín last night. One of the best Clasicos in recent memory. It had everything: goals, incident, controversy, to and froing of the scoreline, and of course a golazo winner in the final minute at the buzzer from Leo Messi, who then celebrated with this iconic moment, taking off his shirt for his 500th goal. It was just a spectacular game. There was so much riding on it as well. It was well documented how this was the real crucial game in the La Liga title run-in. Madrid really only needed a point to almost, guarantee the title for themselves. But as we've seen so many times throughout the history of football, you go back to the Maraconazo between Brazil and Uruguay, and when a team only needs to draw, often subconsciously they play too inhibited. And when a team really needs to win, like Barca did, they go for it. They go for the jugular. Although, that being said, I've kind of contradicted myself because Madrid did go for it in the end. We'll get onto that by and by. So, yeah, spectacular game. Barca now top of La Liga due to La Liga's head-to-head ruling, unlike in the Premier League, which is goal difference. But Madrid have that game in hand, so it's an effective and potential 3-point lead, which is very slim now with those few games remaining. So, let's look at the two lineups, shall we? Keylor Navas in goal for Los Blancos. Four-man defense of Dani Carvajal, Nacho, Sergio Ramos, and Marcelo. Three-man midfield of Luka Modric, Casemiro, Toni Kroos, and then the BBC up front. That was a controversial move from Zizou to play Gareth Bale, given that he was just back from injury. And then the Barca lineup was Ter Stegen, four-man defense of Jordi Alba, Umtiti, Piqué, Sergio Roberto, Rakitic, Sergio Busquets, Andresito, Iniesta, and up front was Messi, Suarez, and Paco Alcacer. So let's get straight into the incidents. I've taken some notes here because there's a lot to get through. So, I mean, the game started off like a crackerjack, and there was a penalty shout for Ronaldo inside 2 minutes. That set the tone. Potentially could have been a penalty. Not a lot has been said about that afterwards because it was so early in the game and so much happened in the interim. But yeah, there was contact from Umtiti on Ronaldo. The game, Barca seemed to be taking control of proceedings, but then Madrid scored, you could say, against a run of play through the trucker, Casemiro of all people. Doesn't score very often, the burly defensive midfielder. It was from a set piece. Sergio Ramos kind of breaking the offside trap. He looked to be offside. He kicked in off the post, and Casemiro was there to rebound. From a Barca point of view, showed their weakness once again on set pieces. I mean, look, has anyone ever thought of picking up Sergio Ramos? He's pretty good in the air, He's one of the best headers of the ball in the world. I can't believe he was allowed to ghost free. It seemed Iniesta, for some reason, was the guy closest to him. That's a mismatch right there. Gerard Piqué should be on Ramos. So that's a real vulnerability of Barca, as we've seen it time and time again. So yeah, Madrid 1-0 on 80 minutes. But then Barca equalised through Leo Messi on the 33rd minute. So yeah, just 5 minutes later. Great move. It was Rakitic playing the ball into Messi. Messi, who had started a move after being fouled by Casemiro. Casemiro seems to have inherited the role of Messi butcher from Pepe. So we remember Mourinho used to send Pepe out to kill and send him flying into tackles on Messi. It looked like Casemiro was charged with kicking Messi out of the game last night, but Messi would not be intimidated. He's too long in the tooth for that at this stage. He just gets up and plays his game. He'd been smashed in the mouth by Marcelo even earlier, and was playing with a handkerchief in his mouth and a bloodied mouth. And so he ended up scoring this goal, quite comically, with a hanky covered in his bloody mouth. 3 touches after receiving the ball from Rakitic. 1 gets around Carvajal for 2 and finishes into the bottom corner past El Costarricense Keylor Navas. So that's 1-1. And yeah, it's a fantastic game now. Well, very finely poised at half time. And yeah, it's Barca who then took the lead. So after Madrid taking lead, this was the topsy-turvy nature of it. Ivan Rakitic with a left-footed swinger It was one of the best swingers you'll ever see. I mean, he's right-footed, of course, but he thrashed it into the far corner. Golazo from Rakitic. With just 17 minutes remaining of normal time, it looked like Barca had it in the bag, and then it even seemed more like, you know, Barca were going to coast to that 2-1 win when Sergio Ramos added to his record of the most red-carded player in the history of Real Madrid, flying into a 2-foot tackle on Leo Messi. He had the brass neck and the cojones afterwards to claim that it was only a yellow. I mean, the absolute cheek of him, it was a blatant red card. He left the ground flying. He's like, I watched it 40 times back and it's only a yellow, but look, that's typical Ramos. He's rarely ever able to auto-disculparse or auto-criticarse, to have some self-reflection and own up to his mistakes. Classic Ramos headless chicken moment. But then the ironic thing was, Barca didn't know what to do with that extra man advantage, and it was actually Madrid who took the initiative from that point on. James Rodriguez, who was only on the pitch 5 minutes, one of his first touches, ends up equalising for Madrid, 10-man Madrid from a Marcelo cross on 86 minutes. You know, incredible scenes really. Barca, you know, had lost all initiative with the extra man advantage, but then you saw Piqué when that goal was scored. He was like, come on, we can still get that winner. And actually it was Madrid who decided to go for the winner. Very foolish and foolhardy on hindsight, you know, with only 10 men. They all went flying forward, left massive gaping hole in the midfield for Sergio Roberto to run into. The little diligent Catalan ran right through the middle. Marcelo and Casemiro had a chance to take him out. They didn't. The ball came out to Andre Gomez, who was just on, who fed the ball into Jordi Alba, and who popped up but Leo Messi for his 500th goal to complete his brace and cap a man of the match performance. I mean, he was sensational. He was everywhere, playing in the hole. You know, Enrique played him as a 10 actually, due to the fact that Neymar wasn't there, and it was Alcacer and Suarez as the forwards. Alcacer, who had a tough game, he had a really good chance actually, which I've overlooked on 55 minutes when it was still 1-0. He showed he's still a bit nervous in front of the goal, and he's lost a bit of his mojo. He was taken off for Andre Gomez, but yeah, it was all about Messi last night. The 2 goals, he provoked the Ramos red card. He drew all of Madrid's attention. They were all over him every tackle and or every time he had the ball, which left space for the likes of Suarez. But Suarez couldn't capitalise. He had a lot of good chances last night. He's off form actually, El Gordito Uruguayo. So just looking at Madrid, I'm going to have to wrap up quickly here. The big talking point was that Zizou went with Gareth Bale, who had only just returned from injury. And of course, it was soon proven that it was way too soon for him to come back. Marco Asensio had to come on. He had a great game. The Mallorcan, who's just definitely going to be a star for the future, still only 2021. It was a massive gamble from Zizou. You know, there's talk of, was that a political move? Is he getting orders from above from Florentino to play the BBC at all costs? We all know Bale and Benzema are the president's men. But, you know, we've seen now that the BBC could be in its last days, and Asensio and Isco are better choices. Lucas Vazquez even always puts in a good shift. And Bale, it's worrying how often he gets injured now at this stage, you know. And then it was also tactically a very poor decision by Zizou's men to go for the third when all they needed was the draw. But yeah, so fantastic from Barca, and from Barca's point of view, high liga, as we say in Spanish. There is league, and very much so. It's going to be a great title run-in now with just a few games remaining. Thank you very much for watching this Clasico vlog from myself, Paul Morrissey, here in Chiang Mai. Please subscribe to the channel, and there's going to be a Spanish one coming up very shortly, porque sí, hablo español. Venga, muchas gracias, and see you soon for more Spanish football vlogs. Hasta luego.